Steve Jewin, MMA Mania.
All right, Steve, go ahead.
Julia the Jewel Bud, it's a pleasure to talk to you again. Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm excellent, and I'm really looking forward to this title defense you've got coming up here at Bellator 202. In fact, it'll be your second title defense, and they always say you're not the champ till you defend the title successfully. So how do you feel now, having defended it against Arlene Blenko?
You know, I feel awesome. It's been an awesome training camp. I was happy walking away with the victory after that fight, and I look forward to putting on a good show next Friday night.
Were you surprised when the judges' scores came back the way they did that fight was so close, or did you kind of expect that knowing that you'd had a close fight with her the last time?
You know, I expected a tough fight, but after watching the fights, I thought I lost one of the 5 rounds, and another one could have gone either way. So, you know, you never know who you're going to get as judges on the sidelines, and I've seen her as well, some of her past away with the win. She cuts forward, she comes forward the whole time, and to a boxing judge or to judges like that, it looks like she's winning the fight, maybe.
Yeah, a boxing judge can see something totally different when forward aggression looks like winning, but that's definitely not the same thing as effective striking.
Yeah, I agree.
How do you plan to keep it out of the judges' hands with Talita Nogueira? What's the strategy for this next fight?
From the minute that first bell goes, I'm prepared for everything. I'm prepared for her round, everything else. I feel the really push it and and just give it my all. And I don't see it going to the judges this time at all. The whole time I've been visualizing this fight, it always ends before the 3rd round. And yeah, excited.
I think we're all excited, especially given that you two have something in common. You've got an 8-fight win streak. She's got a 7-fight win streak because she's undefeated. So somebody's O has got to go, as they say.
Yeah.
With Talita, she's got a 2-inch height advantage. I think she might have a 1 or 2-inch reach advantage as well. How do you feel about that fact that she's a little bit taller or bigger?
Oh, you know what? I'm ready for it. Most of the girls that I've fought have been taller or longer reach or longer legs. Doesn't matter. I'm ready for anything.
Well, it definitely doesn't matter when you put them on the ground with a takedown, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's one area that Talita poses some interesting threats because she's a decorated world jiu-jitsu champion, so it may not be the most fun thing in the world to be on the ground with her.
Yeah, and that was the other thing too, is it's like when we were preparing for Marlos, with 17 wins by submission and somebody like that, we've been adapting my game for dangerous submission people for my entire career, I feel like. A lot of the time, like the girls that I fought in Invicta, you could say they had better ground game than me as well. And so making sure that I can use my wrestling to not, to be effective and not get trapped into a lot of the things that they can pull off.
Now, speaking of Invicta, and I went to some of those very early shows in Kansas City, and I think I've told you about that before, but do you ever find yourself pining for those days, thinking back and how awesome it was to be on a fight card that was all women from top to bottom?
Yeah, you know what? That was amazing. And we got some amazing role fights coming up on our... It was empowering, like being down there with all these girls that are getting into the cage, and it was just cool. It was cool to see, and it was definitely great to be a part of that.
And so many future world champions were born from that. I mean, yourself and Rose Namajunas, just to name a couple.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think there's going to be a chance at any point in the future where Bellator will decide to hold a all-women's card like that with women's fights from top to bottom just to showcase what the women can do?
Well, they definitely could. They've got so much talent and in the 145 division and the 125, and, they've got a few 115 pound fights, and, yeah, they definitely could do an all-women's card.
You know, I hear people complaining about the 145 division in UFC, and my response to that is always, well, Bellator signed all the best women at 145, so who else is there?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We've got the best. We've definitely got the strongest 145-pound division.
Do you think maybe Cyborg should make the jump then instead of staying in UFC and come over to Bellator?
You know, I would definitely be open to, I've been asked that. I'd be open to fight her for sure. I want the best challenges in the world. And I believe she's number one at 145, and I'm number two.
Oh, wow. You'd actually put yourself behind her.
I believe that she's been number one at 145, and we just haven't had a chance to fight yet. So.
All right. Well, that's something we can all hope for in the future.
Prove it.
Yeah, absolutely. But in the meantime, when you look at strictly Bellator, if you're ranking fighters in Bellator alone, who's number two behind you right now, other than your opponent, Talita Nogueira?
It's Kavanaugh. And there's, like, Arlene's still up there for sure. But I've beaten her twice, so it's kind of, you know, I think if I'm not sure with me, especially Kavanaugh's like a little Lita, that would be definitely an interesting fight in the future. And yeah, my full focus is just on Talita right now because I know she's coming for what I have, and I'm ready to, you know, I'm so ready for this fight, so I'm pumped.
How difficult is it to scout her? Are you able to find the fights that she fought in Brazil, or do you have to watch her jiu-jitsu matches and try to pick up on that?
You know what? We watched everything. We kind of, and when we started this camp out, we watched it all, and then and kind of prepare for it. And my training partners watch all the fights, and they get ready for it, and they try to pull off the same stuff she does in her fight.
Julia, I think you cut out a little bit there. I missed the last part of that answer.
Oh, yeah, no, you're just saying, yeah, we studied a lot of her jiu-jitsu matches and her MMA fights from Brazil. We have seen them all, and my training partners try to mimic it as close to possible in training, and it's been fun getting ready for it.
Do you think that her reputation as a jiu-jitsu world champion accelerated her to getting a title shot? Because if you think about it, even though she's undefeated, this is only her second fight as a member of Bellator.
Yeah, I think she's those against hers, and I thought I was gonna. It's been a long time in the making, and I'm ready to get in there and do it.
Awesome. Now, how do you feel about having this fight, Bellator 202, the venue being Thackerville, Oklahoma? What do you think about going to Oklahoma for this fight?
It's my fourth time fighting there, so I'm pretty comfortable there, and yeah, I look forward to it. I don't really care where it takes place. I just want to get in there and show the world what I can do.
But it does seem to be becoming your home away from home. I've said the same thing to a couple other fighters, too. Like, whenever I interview the former bantamweight world champion, I always say to him, hey, guess what? You're fighting in Oklahoma again. He's like, yep, it's home away from home. They know me well.
Yeah, exactly. It's hilarious. My parents have been to all my fights down there, and they've got their routine now, and yeah, it's good.
You probably can even look at a certain section of the crowd and say, there they are, because they probably got the exact same seats.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Right on. So, what thrills you the most about being the world champion? Is it just the recognition that you get for your long career and your list of accomplishments, or is it the outreach that you get to do with the community, or is it just the fun you get to have training and fighting?
I think it's a combo of everything, you know, and I think that every time I get in there and I get to show the world what I can do and why I'm the champion, to do it. I'm so it's huge for me in my community of Port Moody and the Sunshine Coast. And, you know, I'm a lot of kids' heroes, and that that makes me feel like beyond special. Yeah. And it feels that I the time and everything that I put into this had paid off, and I feel like every time I get in there and I get a chance to defend it, it's a chance to show that I'm,
I lost part of that last bit, Julia, where you were saying every time I get a chance to get in there, and then it fell off.
Every time I get in there, still
I get the feeling you might be in a moving car right now. Would I be wrong in thinking that?
Yeah, I'm driving still.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it comes and goes, but I can hear you well for the most part. So I just want to ask one other thing, and then we'll start to wrap it up. But what do you think about the fact that in this fight, Talita Nogueira is basically it's her chance to have her biggest fight of her career? Do you think that puts an extra amount of pressure on her, or do you think she's going to come in without any nerves and be totally ready for you?
I think everybody has nerves, and we're all human, and I hope she's bringing her best game, because I know for a fact what I put in and that I'm ready for this. So yeah, I hope she's
all right.
Gonna have nerves. We all will.
Well, I have nerves just watching the fights because I'm always excited to see a champion put the title on the line. So I know the other fans who are listening to this right now will feel the exact same way. We're all really looking forward to July 13th. So, Julia, as always, thank you so much. And if you want to plug anything, teammates and sponsors, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. And yeah, that's about it. Make sure you guys tune in live next Friday night, July 13th, to the Paramount Network. I believe it's at 8 Central Time.
That's right.
Sorry, did I get cut out there?
No, you did. You came in just fine.
Okay, perfect.
9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, Bellator 202, Bud versus Nogueira. The main event, it's going to be one hell of a barn burner, so don't miss it. Julia, thank you again.
Thank you.
And thank you, Dan, as well.
Thanks, Steve.
You bet. Bye-bye.